Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the COP27 United Nations Climate Conference here in Egypt. It is an absolute pleasure of mine to be here amongst you today and to have been invited to talk, so for that I thank you. I would also first of all just like to thank a few other groups of people. I would like to thank all of the hosts for their hard work in bringing this climate summit together. I would like to thank the guests and the participants, and I would also like to thank the interpreters, who I know are going to be working so hard over the next 48 hours for you all. First of all, I would like to talk about our visions. Now, you can find our visions on our website, but I would actually like to highlight the key areas that are important for us here. We would like to effectively address the climate finance challenge in a manner which creates trust in the process. We would like to support developing countries through this global effort. We also find it highly important to base all of our work off the most reliable and credible science there is. We want to ensure that there is no country which is left behind, and we will do this through our mutual trust and understanding that this climate crisis is global in its nature. Finally, we would like to emphasise the need to move from negotiations to implementation. Now, this essentially means that over the next 48 hours there is going to be a lot of discussions and talks and proposals, but what is absolutely important is that we move from talking to action. We need to put this plan into action and have results that are going to help all of the citizens in our world. First of all, I would like us to talk a little bit over the roundtable discussions and the agenda of this plenary meeting that's going to happen over the next 2 days. The first roundtable session is going to focus on just transition. This means that we will be looking at how can transition policies factor social and economic development into the planning and implementation phases of climate projects that have social impacts. This is going to be our key question that we will focus on for this first roundtable discussion. We will then, second up, have our next roundtable discussion, which will be focusing on food security. In this discussion, we hope to find ways in which we can encourage the production of native resilient crops. This will therefore reduce our reliance on imported crops. We would like to also find ways in which we can use technology to empower higher productivity. And we would like to try and increase sustainable cold chains in developing agricultural sectors. After this, we will then move on to our third roundtable discussion, which will focus on innovative finance for climate and development. We are going to take a look at how we can assist developing countries to access qualitative climate finance. This means that we are going to try and alleviate their sovereign debt and find finance mechanisms that are going to work well for them to reach their goals. For example, we might use a debt for climate swap, or we might use a blended finance mechanism. We are then going to move on to our fourth roundtable discussion, which will be focusing on investing in the future of energy. This is going to be a multi-stakeholder roundtable, and we are going to focus on hydrogen. We are going to ask ourselves, what is the current status of hydrogen production, and can we really upscale this to meet the needs that we currently have? All of this is going to take a special focus on Africa and the global south. We are going to look at how improving energy access can be impactful for achieving our sustainable development goals. I would like to reiterate at this point that throughout the entire climate conference we are going to be going back to our sustainable development goals, which again you can find on our website. We will then move on to our fifth roundtable discussion, which will focus on water security. The discussion will be held and built on evidence. This means that we are going to take evidence-based science of the IPCC 6th Assessment Round reports, as well as other United Nations water-related reports. We are going to look at how we can replicate globally some of the success stories that we have seen in water management processes. For example, here in Egypt, they have been excellent at using water recycling within the agricultural irrigation. We are then going to move on to our 6th round table discussion, which will be focusing on climate change and the sustainability of vulnerable communities. We here would like to focus on how we can strengthen our coordination and partnership across the climate, humanitarian disaster risk reduction and emergency response actors. We are going to look at how we can scale up early warning systems and enhance the operationalisation of humanitarian development and Peace Nexus, also known as the HDPN. So to conclude, I hope that you are going to find the next few days very interesting. We're going to have lots of deep discussions and there will be no doubt some brilliant proposals. I would like to encourage you to make the most of this opportunity, to be present in the moment and to be open to new ideas. I would like to remind you to challenge the old ways of doing things and embrace new concepts. We are all here fundamentally because we would like to make a difference to our world. We want to see change, so we must not be scared of creating that change. Maybe we will create concepts that will work really, really well, and maybe we will create concepts that won't work very well. But what is important is that we try. I would like to finally remind you that this is a global effort. We are all in this together to create a better future for our planet. It is now our turn to give back and care for our planet, which has provided for us, mankind, for so many thousands of years.